What is going on, everybody? Welcome to the Young Brother of Soul podcast show. And guess what? It is me, your guy, the Young Brother of Soul. First and foremost, I want to apologize for taking so long or making new episodes of the Young Brother of Soul podcast show. Yeah, I really do apologize for that. Well, you got to realize the Young Brother of Soul is a very hard-working man, too. So, gotta work. But no worries. There definitely will be some new episodes coming of the Young Brother of Soul podcast show, which I definitely will be doing way better. And not only that, I hope everybody had a safe and wonderful 4th of July, even though some people are still shooting off firecrackers. I mean, they do it before the 4th and they still do it after the 4th. So, yeah. So, on today's episode, it's going to be another very special episode. And not only that it's going to be a very special episode, I hope one day that they will find a cure for this disease. As of right now, there's nothing they can do. So, what I'm going to be talking about on today's episode is former athletes of any sports that has suffered or has been diagnosed of A.L.S. disease. Now, the A.L.S. disease is a fatal nervous system disease that causes motor neurons in the brain and spinal cord to deteriorate, and you can fatally pass away from this disease, meaning that you won't be able to walk no more. You can't talk no more. You have to use a machine in order for you to talk, which is a very sad thing to see within former athletes. And not only that, it is a disease that you wish you don't want to see nobody go through, but it's out here, man. It is out here really bad. So the A.L.S. disease actually is named after an athlete who was a phenomenal athlete. He played in the MLB, Major League Baseball. And not only that he played in the MLB, he was inducted in the MLB Hall of Fame because of his A.L.S. disease. And that is, ladies and gentlemen, Lou Gehrig, which A.L.S. is called the Lou Gehrig disease. Now, Lou Gehrig was a phenomenal all-star baseball player for the New York Yankees. He was a 6-time World Series champion. And not only that, he definitely, like I said, was inducted in the Hall of Fame of 1939. The same year he was diagnosed with A.L.S. disease. And like I said, he was a phenomenal baseball player. He was a phenomenal all-star, 6-time World Series. And then in 1941, at the age of 37, Lou Gehrig passed away because of A.L.S. disease. Now, during that time, that was in the 1930s and 40s. Now, of course, they didn't have the technology that we have today, but still, he was a phenomenal MLB player of baseball. He was part of the teams that won the World Series with Babe Ruth. You know, Joe DiMaggio. I believe Joe DiMaggio was on the Yankees when they won the World Series during that time. And unfortunately, he lost his life at the age of 37, a very young age, because of A.L.S. And as of right now, he is the only former or Hall of Fame baseball player that has been well known, that has been diagnosed and passed away from A.L.S. Yeah, as of right now. Another athlete that has suffered, been diagnosed with ALS, and that is, ladies and gentlemen, Steve Gleason. Now, Steve Gleason was a safety for the New Orleans Saints. And not only that he was a safety for the New Orleans Saints, he was well known for blocking a punt that was returned for a touchdown in the year of 2006 when the New Orleans Saints returned back to the Superdome a year after Hurricane Katrina came. Now, believe it or not, Steve Gleason was definitely a phenomenal football player in the NFL. Unfortunately, in the year 2011, he was diagnosed with the A.L.S. disease. As of right now, he is still alive. But, of course, he's unable to walk and he's unable to talk. He has to talk through a machine. Well, a machine computer is helping him talk to his family and friends. Now, as of right now, before I go on, well, you know what? I'm going to save this for a little later. Steve Gleason definitely will be remembered for blocking that punt in 2006 when the Saints returned to the Superdome a year after Hurricane Katrina. Now, we already know what Hurricane Katrina did to the city of New Orleans. Lord have mercy. That was a heck of a hurricane. And believe it or not, to this day, I still hear that houses, well, not just houses, certain neighborhoods in New Orleans are still abandoned because of that hurricane. And it's been over 20 years. Yeah, 20 years. Wow. I can't believe that Hurricane Katrina went by so quickly. Another athlete that has suffered or has been diagnosed with ALS disease is Tim Shaw. Now, Tim Shaw was an NFL former linebacker. He played with 4 teams, of course, and he is well known for being on the Tennessee Titans. Well, in 2014, Tim Shaw was diagnosed with ALS disease. Now, believe it or not, as of right now, as a paying tribute to him, his high school that he played for is named after him to pay a wonderful, great tribute to him, because as he has been suffering from ALS disease. Now, as of right now, he is still alive, but he definitely is one of the former athletes that have been diagnosed with ALS. Oh, boy. And the good thing, like I said, the high school that he attended, football stadium, I believe, is, well, I shouldn't say I believe, football team, well, stadium, as I was saying, is named after him, Tim Shaw Stadium. So, yeah, or Tim Shaw Field. That's how you do it. That's how you pay tribute to somebody. Another well-known athlete that has suffered from ALS disease is Dwight Clark. Now, we all know Dwight Clark was a former wide receiver for the San Francisco 49ers. And not only that, he is well known for doing that amazing catch from Joe Montana in the NFC Championship against the Dallas Cowgirls. Now, Dwight Clark definitely was a phenomenal wide receiver. I'm surprised he's not in the Hall of Fame. Dwight Clark is really not in the Hall of Fame. That's crazy. You would think he would be, especially when he made that catch. As I should say, the San Francisco 49ers, but yeah, he did that amazing catch for that game-winning touchdown catch against the Dallas Cowgirls in the 1981 NFC Championship. Now, believe it or not, he's also won 2 Super Bowls, like I said. Yeah, 2 Super Bowls. He was diagnosed with ALS in 2017. Unfortunately, in 2018, Dwight Clark has passed away because of the ALS disease. Now, do you think that Dwight Clark definitely should be in the Hall of Fame? I think he should be in the Hall of Fame. Like I said, I'm shocked that he didn't make it to the Hall of Fame. And not only that, he was part of the 80s of the 49ers. So, yeah. But, yeah, Dwight Clark passed away. I believe he was 67 when he passed away from ALS disease in 2018. I actually remember that too. I remember that. It was breaking news. Former 49ers wide receiver Dwight Clark passed away because of ALS. It was on the NFL Network, which I also remember the NFL Network when it came out in 2004. Yeah, I definitely remember that. Yeah, this ALS is something else, man. It's something else. Another great athlete that has suffered from ALS disease is Steve Mongo McMichael. Now, Steve McMichael, or should I say Mongo, was a former defensive tackle, well known as I should say, the Chicago Bears. He was part of the 85 Bears that won Super Bowl 20, which they dominated the New England Patriots. Yeah, they definitely dominated the Patriots in that Super Bowl. I believe the score was, 46-10. I still, to this day, even though I wasn't even born, I still don't understand why y'all didn't let Walter Payton score. Of all people, Walter Payton score in a touchdown in the Super Bowl. But we'll talk about, I guess we'll talk about that a little later. But yeah, Steve McMichael definitely was a phenomenal NFL player. Like I said, he was part of the 85 Bears. He was a defensive tackle, and in 2001 he was diagnosed with the ALS disease. Unfortunately, in 2024, Steve Mongo McMichael passed away because of ALS disease. Now, believe it or not, he actually made it to the NFL Hall of Fame in 2024 because of the ALS disease. Now, to be honest with you, let me ask y'all this. Make sure y'all leave a comment. Do you think NFL players that have been diagnosed with ALS disease, well, the ones that played for a very long time, do you think they should be inducted because of the ALS, or you think they should be inducted for what they did in their career? But even though we all know that ALS is a very, very bad disease. Yeah. Another great athlete that has suffered from ALS, this guy is actually a former middleweight, lightweight, and heavyweight champion. And this guy's name is, ladies and gentlemen, Ezzard Charles. Now, Ezzard Charles was a professional boxer. He boxed from 1940 to 1959. He won 7 gold medals and 1 bronze. But in 1968, he was diagnosed with ALS. And another bad situation is in 1975, Ezzard Charles passed away because of ALS disease. He was 53 years old. It's very young. Very young. Come to think of it, now that I think about it, like I said, Lou Gehrig is the only former baseball player, Hall of Fame baseball player, that has suffered from ALS. Ezzard Charles is the only former boxer that has suffered or been diagnosed or passed away from ALS disease. Now, yeah, as of right now, like I said, he's the only former boxer that I've heard of or have known that had suffered from ALS disease. Now, are there more former boxers and former baseball players that have suffered from ALS disease? There probably is. It's just nobody probably didn't say nothing, or they just finding out now. That's the thing too. Some people are just finding out. Some people are just getting diagnosed with this disease nowadays. And there might be some former NBA players that have probably suffered from ALS disease that we didn't heard of just yet, or hopefully we don't want to hear it about it, because it's a very fatal disease out here. Like I said, ladies and gentlemen, very fatal. And the last athletic player that has been diagnosed and suffering from ALS disease is Chris Johnson, which was a shock to everybody out here today, which was a huge shocker. Now, Chris Johnson was a former running back for the Tennessee Titans. He was drafted in the first round in the year of 2008, but he is also known for having or being one of the running backs to have over 2,000 rushing yards in a season, which he did in his second season. They call him what? CJ2K, something like that. If y'all know what his nickname was, for some reason I can't remember his nickname, but if y'all remember what his nickname that they gave him because he had over 2,000 rushing yards in a season, leave a comment, because oh Lord have mercy, I feel like a fool right now. But yeah, just recently, and not only that, he was one of the best running backs during our eras, especially in the 2000s. But in 2025, Chris Johnson was diagnosed with ALS. Crazy thing about it is he was hanging out with it. Well, not hanging out. He was with his wife. He was with his kids. They was having a good time. And then all of a sudden he got diagnosed. And of course, of this year of 2026, he had an interview with Michael Strahan on Good Morning America. It was crazy because this was one of the best running backs during the 2000s, and now he can't walk and he definitely can't talk. He has to talk through the machine. That actually does sound like him too, which is crazy, but I'm gonna just leave it at that. He has to talk through a machine, and it's crazy. You would never thought a player like him would actually suffer or go through a situation like this, because he was phenomenal and he was fast, and it's just crazy how he was just with his family having a good time, and then all of a sudden he can't do it no more because of the ALS disease. Now, believe it or not, former running back Adrian Peterson and Deion Sanders and Marshawn Lynch, beast mode, they did something that people have been doing in over 10 years, and that is, ladies and gentlemen, the Ice Bucket Challenge, which they are definitely supporting him throughout this situation. Now, we all know what the Ice Bucket Challenge is. You get a bucket of ice, pour water on it, and then you pour it on people. They have been doing that for a very long time. At one point, I remember they did it, 10, 11 years ago, and now they're starting to bring it up again. Now, here's the thing. Will they ever find a cure for ALS disease? As of right now, it seems like they can't find a cure. But do you think it will happen one day? It may. It may not happen. But it's a shame hearing how former athletes are suffering from ALS disease nowadays. It is crazy. It is crazy. That's why they always say try to take care of yourselves while you out here. Do it while you young. Well, gotta take my own advice, of course. But other than that, yeah, these are the former athletes of any sport that has been diagnosed, suffered, or passed away from this ALS disease. This is something else, man. It's just like I said. Are they ever going to find a cure? Who knows? But hopefully they will. But how long that would be to find a cure for ALS, man, it's crazy. It's like 1 minute you walking, you talking, you having a good time with your family, your friends, you doing all this, you doing all that, you just doing what you got to do, and then all of a sudden you don't feel right, and then you get diagnosed with this deadly disease, man. It's crazy. I believe there are quite a few symptoms that are out here that people are going through, of course, with this ALS, but you know, it's through the brain and the spinal cord that deteriorates. It deteriorates the brain and the spinal cord. That's why people can't walk and talk no more because of this disease. And that's why some people pass away from this disease. Like I said, everybody's going to be doing the ice bucket challenge, which seems like a nice challenge to do, ladies and gentlemen, especially supporting those that you know, that you love, that you were teammates with, or even friends, you know, family. Like I said, it's something has to give. This disease is something else. It's something else. I just, you know, wish, like I said, and I'm gonna keep on saying it, and I don't mean to keep repeating myself, I just wish that they come up with a cure. Are they gonna come up with a cure? Who knows? But hopefully one day that they will. But all I'm saying is this: try to take it easy, try to take care of yourself, try to enjoy your life, but you just got to be careful. You just got to take care of yourself. Like I said, you know, any sickness out here today, you know, former athletes, boxing, football, basketball, hockey, baseball. And that's another thing too. In a way, yes, no, maybe there are some former hockey players that may have suffered from this disease, but no matter what sport it is, no matter what the outcome is of what sport you play, any athlete can suffer from ALS, torn ligaments, concussions, CTE, which I already did an episode. Make sure y'all check those out, episodes of CTE and torn ligaments. And, you know, like I said, no matter what the outcome is, no matter what sport you played, no matter what, a person can suffer from ALS. You don't even have to play sports in order for a person to suffer from ALS or be diagnosed with it, which nobody wants to go through. But, you know, it's crazy. You know, it's just, like I said, 1 minute you're good, like you're healthy, and then all of a sudden it just comes like that. Yes, there are symptoms, but guess what? Like I said, take care of yourselves in a good and healthy way. Now, another thing is too, ladies and gentlemen, before I end this episode of the Young Brother Soul Podcast Show, I'm gonna need everybody to subscribe, hit that thumbs up, leave a comment, hit that notification button, and make sure y'all tune in for some new episodes of the Young Brother Soul Podcast Show. And I definitely did not forget about the ones that want to be interviewed again. And I'm also looking for some new people to interview. Let a brother know when y'all ready to be interviewed on the Young Brother Soul Podcast Show. But anyway, yes, ladies and gentlemen, like I said, I just hope that they find a cure for this disease. It's something else, man. It's something else. You lose your ability to walk. You lose your ability to talk. You have to talk through a machine or computer. Like that's it's crazy. It's crazy. It is crazy, man. And another thing, what I also want to say is, like I said earlier, I cannot wait until football season comes back. I can't wait till football season comes back. As y'all can see, y'all already know what team I represent. You already see what team I represent. EA Eagles, 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 Eagles fly, Eagles fly. Oh, I definitely cannot wait until Eagles come back. Bird gang all day. Like I said, bird gang all day. Fly, Eagles fly. On the road to victory. And I know I'm a little late, but the Sixers have traded for Jaylen Brown. Yeah, Jaylen Brown was a phenomenal basketball player for the Boston Celtics and was the 2024 MVP of the finals. Yeah. But like I said, I can't wait till football season comes back. I really cannot wait. Hopefully, we'll see what the Phillies are going to do. But playoff season starts in October or September. One of them. Yeah. Correct me if I'm wrong. But other than that, yeah, I definitely, like I said, I cannot wait till football. I can't wait till football. I cannot wait till football season comes back. Yes. Like I said, Eagles, Eagles. Screw the Cowgirls. Yeah, I said it. Screw the Cowgirls. The midgets, the New York midgets, and Washington, whatever you want to call them. Some of y'all Cowgirls fans, man, y'all are delusional, man. Lord have mercy. Y'all talk about us. Y'all stay stuck in the past. Midgets fans, well, I'm just glad that y'all beat the Patriots twice in the Super Bowl until we got them back in the Super Bowl, of course. And, of course, Washington fans, boy, you guys are really hyped because y'all made it to the NFC Championship. Y'all actually thought y'all were going to the Super Bowl because y'all did beat Tampa Bay in the wild card in 2024. Then y'all beat the number 1 seed Detroit Lions in the divisional round, which I knew that was going to happen. Me and quite a few people knew that was going to happen. But y'all fans, Washington fans, thought that y'all were going to take over Philadelphia. No, don't work like that. You're not going to take over Philadelphia. Well, Knicks fans did, but that's another thing that I still can't get over. I cannot get over the fact that we let New York fans take over Philadelphia. That was crazy, but in a way, it was their time to win. Even though I don't like the Knicks, but I'm all Philadelphia. Eagles, Flyers, Phillies, Sixers. Yeah. I don't like nobody from New York. I don't like no teams from New York. I don't like no teams from Boston. I don't like no teams from L.A., Chicago, Miami, San Diego, Houston, Kansas City. I damn sure don't like nobody from Dallas. Like I said, I'm all Philadelphia. Eagles, Flyers, Philly, Sixers. One thing you will not see me in, you definitely will not see me in another team's hat, jersey, jacket, socks, pants, sneakers. Some people do it for the colors, and some people do it for their initials. I don't do that. That's not me. I don't care how much of a fan, sports fan you are, but I know who I represent. I represent the whole city of Philadelphia. Yup. Like I said, Eagles, Flyers, Phillies, Sixers. All day long, no matter what the outcome is, I'm all Philadelphia. Yup. So, ladies and gentlemen, this is the end of this episode of the Young Brother of Soul podcast show. Like I said, make sure you tell all your family and friends to subscribe, hit that thumbs up, leave a comment, hit that notification button, and make sure y'all tune in, like I said, for some new episodes of the Young Brother of Soul podcast show. Thank y'all, and be safe. And go birds, go birds. Bird gang all day, bird gang all day. EAGLES, 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 EAGLES. Starting to sound like the mayor of Philadelphia. Lord have mercy. Please forgive me for that, y'all. Y'all know I know how to spell the birds. Eagles all day. All right, y'all. Stay safe, and thank you, and have fun. And